Okay, I'm finally back with another Mr. Men reading. This time it is Little Miss Ditzy, but in the UK they called it Little Miss Dotty. So let's get straight into it. Welcome to Nonsense Land. You may have heard of it. It's where the trees are pink, orange, and brown, and the grass is blue. Where dogs wear hats and birds fly backwards. And where Little Miss Dotty lived in the middle of the whoopee wood. Nonsense Land really is quite the most extraordinary place. If you ever came across a worm with a straw boater and wearing a bow tie, you know you are coming in Nonsense Land. And if you ever happen to catch sight of a pig playing tennis, you know exactly where you are, won't you? That's right, Nonsense Land. One morning in January, Little Miss Dotty was having breakfast, a bowlful of marmalade with milk and sugar. While she ate, she was reading the newspaper. She took the Nonsense Land daily news every day and always read it as she ate her Dotty breakfast. Something in the paper caught her eye. She stopped eating and read something. The headline read, Nonsense Cup winner. And underneath it said, this year's Nonsense Cup was the silliest idea in tree, was yesterday awarded to Mr. Silly, or the King of Nonsense Land. Runners up were Mr. Muddle and Mrs. Nincompoop. Next year, continued the story, the Nonsense Land will be awarded for the silliest idea, but for the dottiest idea of the year. The dottiest idea of the year, Little Miss Dotty thought to herself as she popped a spoonful of marmalade into her mouth. I bet I could win the Nonsense Land Cup. After breakfast, she set off for a walk in Whoopee Wood. To think about this and that, but most of all to think that that famous Nonsense Cup. On her walk, she met Mr. Silly. Congratulations on winning the cup, she said to him. Oh, it was nothing, really, he replied modestly. Little Miss Dotty thought about telling him that she was not going to enter next year, but she decided not to. January passed, and February, and spring came and the bluegrass grew. But could Little Miss Dotty think of an idea? She could not. She could not think of a single Dotty idea. Summer came to Nonsense Land and went, without a single Dotty idea in her mind. And the leaves started to fall from the trees. And then one afternoon in late November, Little Miss Dotty thought of her idea. The dottiest idea ever! The year ended and January arrived in Nonsense Land. A huge crowd gathered as usual in the square to see who had won the year's Nonsense Land Cup. The King of Nonsense Land mounted the specially built platform, and a hush descended on the crowd. Ladies and gentlemen, the King announced. Again, it's my pleasure to announce the annual winner of our famous Nonsense Cup. As you know, he continued, the cup will be awarded this year whoever has the dottiest idea of the year. The crowd held its breath. One of which, the King went on, has been entered by Mr. Nonsense. The crowd looked at Mr. Nonsense, held up his Dotty idea for all to see. A television set, but with no screen. It's for people who don't like watching television, he explained proudly. The crowd then. However, continued the King, we have even Dotty idea from last year's winner. Mr. Silly triumphantly showed his invention to the crowd. It's a clock. If you look at it, it tells you the right time, he announced. But the crowd cheered it. Mr. Slyfetcher is going to win the Nonsense Cup. Could be. But the king instantly realized he was. Yeah, you fat. But said the king again, we did announce that the nonsense cup to be awarded the dottiest of the year. And this year's winner has provided us with. He paused. 9,999 dots. Little Miss Dotty held her breath and brushed. Hurrah! Roared the crowd. Follow me, said the king. The king and little Miss Dotty went there to go through Whoopi went to a cottage, and then they stopped and stared. Little Miss Dotty had spent the whole month of December painting dots all over her cottage. 999 to be exact. Little Miss Dotty had counted them very carefully. That's a lot of dots. Dots. Remarked the king as he had over the nuts the cup of the cudgel. Thank you, your majesty, she replied, and she blushed with pride. Oh, one last thing. If you are as good as it counting dots as little Miss Dotty, you'll be interested to know that there are 195 small letter I's in this story. And 195 dots on the top of them. I should know, because I put them there.